You know, it's kind of wild thinking about people crossing huge distances, oceans even, without like a phone app telling them where to go.
It really is.
Especially if you're someone who likes knowing how stuff works, figuring things out. Their methods must seem really clever.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we're diving into today, isn't it? This sort of ancient wisdom they used.
Exactly. How they navigated deserts, mountains, seas, long before GPS was even a dream.
We've been looking at some accounts of early travel, and honestly, it's quite staggering what they managed.
So where do we start? I guess, like, how did they find their way at night?
Right, the night sky, that was huge. Celestial navigation, basically, using the stars.
Okay.
And the big one, especially in the northern hemisphere, was the North Star, Polaris.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it hardly moves, right? It's almost right over the Earth's axis. So boom, you've got north.
A fixed point.
Exactly. And by seeing how high it was above the horizon, they could even get a rough idea of their latitude, how far north they were.
Wow. Okay, so one star could tell you quite a bit. But what about daytime? No stars then.
Then you turn to the sun, solar navigation.
Makes sense.
They really understood its path. And they had tools, simple ones sometimes, like a shadow stick.
A stick. Just a stick.
Yeah, pretty much. You put a stick upright in the ground, watch the shadow. The shortest shadow happens around noon.
Pointing north or south, depending where you are.
Right, and watching the shadow move gives you your east-west line. They also had more developed things like sun compasses later on, which were a bit more accurate about direction throughout the day.
That's brilliant. Using just a shadow, what else? Did they, like, read the land itself?
Oh, definitely. Their connection to the environment was, well, profound. They noticed everything.
Like what?
Like bird flight patterns. Some seabirds don't go too far from land. See them. Land's probably nearby.
Oh, okay.
And wind patterns, too, especially sailors. They'd know the prevailing winds, how these shifted near coasts or islands.
So it's constant observation. What if you're on land, but it's, I don't know, kind of featureless?
Landmarks were vital. A weirdly shaped rock, a big old tree, a bend in a river, mental signposts.
Stored in memory.
Exactly. And sometimes, really cleverly, you hear about some indigenous cultures using memory maps, even map songs.
Map songs, you mean like singing the directions?
Sort of. Encoding detailed geography, routes, landmarks into songs or chants, passed down generation to generation. An incredible way to keep knowledge alive.
That is genuinely amazing. Okay, but the open ocean? That still feels like the ultimate challenge. No landmarks out there.
Right. Oceanic navigation. Now you look at Polynesian voyages, for instance. Yeah. Just masters of it.
Yeah.
They read the ocean itself. The swells, the waves, they understood the patterns, how different swells moving in different directions meant different things, maybe indicated distant islands.
Reading waves.
And seabirds again,
Yeah.
but even far from land. And currents, wind.
Yeah.
It was this whole complex system they learned. Not instinct, learned skill.
Wow. Okay. Eventually, though, we did get tools, like the compass.
Yes, that was a game changer, eventually. The Chinese used lodestone, that naturally magnetic rock, very early on. A basic compass.
A floating needle pointing north.
Pretty much. And there's talk of Vikings maybe using sunstones, crystals that could help find the sun's position, even on a cloudy day.
Still tied to nature, though, even the early tech.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even with a lodestone or a sunstone, you still needed skill.
It wasn't automatic.
Not at all. Experience, observation, those were still key. Knowing how to interpret what the tool or the stars or the waves were telling you.
And people didn't always travel alone into the unknown, right? There were routes.
For sure. Think of the Silk Road, Roman roads. Established paths, people followed routes, shared knowledge, relied on guides. It wasn't always pure exploration. Often it was following known ways.
So experience and shared knowledge were just as important as any single technique.
Definitely. It really paints a picture of navigation being less about tech and more about deep environmental knowledge, observation, memory, and resilience.
It really does. It makes our reliance on GPS seem, well, different.
It does, doesn't it? You wonder if we've maybe lost something, that deep connection, that ability to, read the world so intimately.
That's a really interesting point. So the takeaway is this incredible blend of observing nature, passing down knowledge, and sheer human ingenuity.
That sums it up well.
Yeah.
They navigated using the world itself.
Makes you think, maybe next time you pull out your phone for directions, just pause for a second.
Yeah. What do they understand about the world around us that perhaps we've forgotten?